I went out to check on him and do the animal chores and was dead. Hi, my friends. I hope you're doing well. Whoa. We had some fresh snowfall yesterday, just a few inches, but enough to cover the yucky snow. I am getting ready to go do animal chores, and I've got to let the chickens out, so let's start there. Oh. So I was looking back, and we have only been doing YouTube for 2.5 years, and I thought it was much longer than that. I don't know if that's a good sign or just a different thing. Hey, check this out. I want to show that to you. Look at the snow on the chicken coop door. I'm gonna have to dig that out. I'm gonna let the chickens out. It's that kind of snow that filled their run. So, Maddie, you have to stay out. I know, honey. All right. Anyway, that's fun. We got some eggs in there. Oh, we got one that's broken. And a freshly laid one. We'll come and get eggs later. We'll leave these girls to it. Okay, Maddie. We got a bit of snow. What you doing? Want to say good morning? Come on. I don't think those chickens are going to really want out. So in a little bit, when I feed them, I will dig out their coop. So yeah, we've only been doing YouTube for just 2.5 years. In May, it'll be 3. So I don't think we're doing too bad. I always put more pressure on myself than maybe than I should. So now I'm gonna walk up and actually I'll feed the chickens when I get back, because I'm gonna give the other animals some hay. So Edward is down and has been for a week, and he got frostbite on his toes. I know, we were a week ago on getting hay, and he was outside for about 6 straight hours with really cold temperatures. And hold on. Oh, here, I'll show you what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get over the snow and put that up there. Okay. He was outside with really cold temperatures and didn't rest, and his feet got extremely cold, but he pushed through, and he came in, and I had a hot fire going for him so he could warm up, and he put his feet really close to the fire, but because they were so cold, he couldn't feel his feet warming up very fast. So they ended up, when you get really cold, your blood vessels restrict and they shrink down. Well, when they warm up, they expand. And he warmed up his feet too fast, and the blood vessels in his toes, some of his toes, his 2 big toes and 2 of toes on another feet, expanded so fast that they burst, and they created these massive blisters on his feet, and he can hardly walk. So I've been trying to treat that. So that has been interesting. Let me get some hay, my friends. See what my dog did. That is hay. Right from the sled. Look at you, Maddie. She's such a good pup. All right. Hi, Norman. Are you wanting some hay? Huh, bud? Hey, do you want some hay? How about you, mamas? Yeah. How about I get you some hay? That'll be good. All right. Hi, Norman. You're pretty cute. All right, well, I have a lot to catch you guys up on. Not only did Edward get hurt, but we had a loss on the farm. And it's been a few days. But I was Finley, we lost Finley, and it was unexpected, and we've been quite sad about it. But basically, when he stopped eating, and he had done this before during a really cold snap, he just got really weak, and we noticed that he was struggling. So we had brought him up to the house for some R&R, and he recovered really well within a day, and he wanted back out. So fast forward to now, few months later, he started doing the same thing. We noticed he wasn't eating, and he was really lethargic. So we thought, well, we'll give it a couple of days to see, because it had warmed up into the low 30s. Upper 20s, low 30s, and for us right now that's pretty warm. I know that's not warm, but it is pretty warm when you've been in the negatives, so, and in the single digits. So he so then Edward got hurt, and I came out here to check on him, and I noticed that he had gotten up and he was walking around. He would not come in the barn. So I said, and this was on Sunday, but because we were doing hay and stuff, I didn't bring him in or anything because he was getting up. And then Monday, I went out to check on him and do the animal chores, and Finley was dead. And we had about 15 inches of snow on the ground, and Finley was about 80 pounds, 90 pounds, something like that. And Edward couldn't even come out of the house, and well, I mean, he could come out in his slippers on the porch, but not stand on his feet too much, right? So I put Finley in the sled and And I struggled with that, and I was struggling with tears, just the sadness of the whole thing. Finley was a fairly young dog, and he was a good dog and a good livestock guardian dog, and he guarded all the animals, including Anaya, and he also, you know, bossed everybody around and kept everybody in their place. And there's Anaya. And so anyway, I struggled. I got him in the sled. I pulled him out of the stall, out of the paddock, through the barn, and I started carrying him up this hill. And so there's a tree, let's see, right there. And so basically I pulled him out of here, out there, and then there's a pathway that goes up the hill and to that tree right there, which is not quite the top of the ridge, but in 15 inches of snow, the snow can be pretty deep. And the more I struggled pulling him and thinking about what I was doing and how I was going to do it, I was crying, and it was getting harder and harder to accomplish. And I felt overwhelmed, deeply saddened, and really alone, and going, I don't know if I can do this. And so I called our neighbor who has a snow machine, and he came over and he pulled Finley up, and we took him up to the back side of the property. So up, see if you guys can see, up there's some woods, okay? And on the back side of that is another, like 4 acres, 3-4 acres, okay? And we took him on the back side of that to the woods on the border of our property, and we put him in the snow. Now, I don't know if people have thought about this. Unless you're in Maine or live in a cold environment during the winter, you can't bury anything or anybody or any animals because the ground is frozen. So we laid him in the snow, and of course we had now a blanket of snow, and his body is covered. If he is still there in the spring, our neighbor will bring his excavator up and he will be buried properly. Most likely, though, there won't be anything left, because that's how it is up here. You have wild animals that come, and they thrive off of other animals. So anyway, so for the last several days we've been pretty sad and dealing with our sadness, and then we noticed Anaya stopped eating, but hers was more depression based, so we brought her in the house immediately for some R&R, and she did not like it. Anaya does not like being in the house, so we made sure she was eating and gave her some probiotics and stuff like that. I checked her over, and she's doing really good. Her ears, her mouth, her teeth. She's playing with Maddie now. Anyway, did your friend go inside? Anyway, so obviously you can see she's doing fine. But she still wasn't eating, so I've been spending a lot of time with her, making sure her appetite is increased. So basically we had to change the stall she was in and put her back where she was before Finley died, because she kept laying in the spot where he passed away, and she was really depressed. And so we had to counter that depression and help her move forward with that. So that was hard, because I can't imagine what I would do without my husband and what my heart would even be able to be like. You know, I just would really, really have a hard time. So anyway, that's one of the many things that have been going on. I know our farm is changing and we should be having at least our first lambing, oh, excuse me, in a little bit. And so that will be really exciting, but definitely a hard beginning of the year. We didn't record a end of year and beginning. We were going to do that, but I've been really sick. This is the other thing. I have been sick since, well, last year at this time when my daughter moved in. I started having these flare-ups. Now I've had these before in my 20s and in my 30s, but they were far between, and once I got past whatever it was, I didn't think anything of it. I just know that I've had a really sensitive stomach. Well, this flare-up started January of last year. It lasted for several months, and then I got past it, so I didn't think of anything of it. Well, this last one, a digestive flare, is the only thing I can consider it being, started in August, and it's just now getting over with. So, but it was so bad that I wasn't even able to keep anything down. So I've been going to the doctor, and I have a digestive procedure coming up, and we won't go into too many details because, you know, it's not very attractive, but I'll let you guys know what's going on. My hope is that it's nothing scary, right? I'm taking a tremendous amount of minerals, enzymes, and supplements. I think I need to get a naturopathic doctor. So after my procedure with my doctor, my current provider, because I really like her, and I'm gonna find a naturopathic doctor. I think I need to get some more extensive blood work done. The good thing about it is my inflammation markers have decreased. However, I'm not entirely sure that I believe that. So, because of how I feel. So, you know, it could be one of those false positive, negative things, whatever you want to call it. So, I've got that going on as well. So, while Edward's sick, not sick, but his feet are healing, I am feeling stronger than I have in several months. So that is really a blessing. And I'm so grateful to the Lord for that. However, I get weak pretty fast. And so that part, I'm not really liking that part very much. But we are making it. Now I'm going to, now that Maddie took out a couple flakes of hay, see that? I just rode over it with the trolley, see that? Yeah. I'm gonna go get water, take it to the chickens, bring water up here for the animals, and feed the chickens. I doubt they're gonna want out, but I wanna make sure everybody's well fed and good to go. So in a nutshell, my friends, I know this is a lot of talking and a lot of information in one video, but a lot has been going on, and we took a couple months off, and because of what's on my plate, I'm going to be rearranging a little bit the YouTube schedule. I think I'm going to try and put out a couple shorts each week with one video on Fridays, just because my friends, between working, running the farm, my health, and editing and stuff like that, I just, even though I've had a couple months off, I'm pretty worn out. So I also, you know, I'm in my late 40s, so I think I'm doing pretty good, but I don't know what to measure that. I do see some women around my age that they're in fantastic shape, so definitely have to make some lifestyle changes, and it needs to be an attitude change as well. So there's definitely more to come, my friends, and we'll start producing these videos more. But yeah, 2.5 years we've been doing this, and in 4 years we have put in a raised garden, started the Garden of Hope, put in a chicken coop with a run, a shed with an extension, part of our barn. I can't really tell because the sun is shining so brightly, but anyway, it's up there, right there, part of our barn. And we want to work more on that this year, but in the meantime, for right now, I'm gonna push through, put on my big girl boots, and do what I gotta do with a good attitude. So regardless of you being sick or wanting to quit, you just keep doing it. Whether there's snow on the ground or tears in your eyes or joy in your heart, we keep going and we keep doing. So I'm gonna go get the water for the chickens, go feed the girls, take up water to the animals, feed them, then the animal chores will be done. And I'm gonna go in and warm up by the fire. Thank you so much for watching our YouTube channel. It's such a joy to share our life with you. And I hope that we encourage, inspire others to take risks, live their dream, and face adversity with joy and vulnerability. Talk to you soon. Bye.